Hello, welcome to the lunch edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chingambi. Let's take a look at our top stories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika renames Paul Kagame Road in Lilongwe to John Chilembwe Road. Older persons in the country continue to face violence despite various interventions by government and organizations. And in sports, Scorcher's coach optimistic that his charges will be successful in the group stages of Women's Africa Cup of Nations despite being drawn against Africa's heavyweights. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has renamed the Paul Kagame Road in Lilongwe to John Chilembwe Road. A statement from the Office of the Chief Secretary to Government says the conferment of honours is with effect from 12 January and shall be published in the Government Gazette for all purposes and all written laws. The statement has directed the Ministry of Transport and Road Infrastructure to effect new road signs bearing the name of John Chilembwe Road. Indian High Commissioner to Malawi, Amararam Kuja, has emphasized the need for collective action to address the effects of climate change, citing tree planting as key strategy to combat deforestation and promote environmental sustainability in the country. Kuja made the remarks in Lilongwe during a joint tree planting exercise with the Lilongwe City Council held under the Greening Lilongwe campaign.
Speaking during the exercise along the Kamuzu Central Hospital Interchange Road, Indian High Commissioner to Malawi, Amararam Kuja, said there is an urgent need for Malawians to plant more trees in order to mitigate the effects of climate change. Kuja noted that rampant deforestation in the country is negatively affecting biodiversity, stressing that collective efforts from citizens and relevant stakeholders are critical in restoring the environment.
And I think Malawi also needs a more tree plantation by the way, because a lot of deforestation activities is taking place, and this deforestation activities are having a very severe and negative impact on the biodiversity, because Malawi has a very rich in flora and fauna, but now recent years too much deforestation activities, I think lot of wildlife especially, they are in a very, very distressed situation.
Meanwhile, Lilongwe City Mayor Peter Alex Banda said the council aims to restore vegetation that was lost during major road construction works across the city. The mayor added that the council will ensure sustainability of the trees being planted, noting that the initiative complements various development projects currently being undertaken by government in Lilongwe. The tree planting exercise comes at a time when the country is preparing to launch the 2025-2026 National Forestry Season, during which government targets to plant 41 million trees nationwide. Margaret Mabando, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Government, through the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, has set an ambitious target to plant over 3 million trees nationwide, surpassing the African Union Sports Council Region 5 benchmark. The initiative targets all primary school learners across the country. Details with Smart Chaliga.
The program, launched at Lilongwe Demonstration Primary School, seeks to plant over 3 million trees, exceeding the African Union Sports Council Region 5 requirement of 2.5 million trees per the member state. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Patricia Wiskes, says the initiative reflects government's commitment to engaging young people and learning institutions in environmental protection for future generations. She has also called on stakeholders in the sports sector to actively participate in the exercise.
You know, sports actually has a very huge impact on people. It gathers a lot of people together. It touches on people's emotions. It is able to bring quite a huge number of people together. So we want to use sports as one of the facilities, as one of the alternatives to ensure that we are contributing to climate change. So at the moment, the concept of this project is that we work with schools, in particular primary schools. We want to use the students to be the drivers of this project. So they are involved 100% in terms of making sure that these 3 million trees are planted across Malawi.
Central West Education Division Manager Joseph Konje says the target is achievable, citing the large number of learners enrolled in primary schools across the country.
Actually, this green initiative is intending to plant 3 million trees countrywide, and we have over 5 million students. So therefore, all over the country, these 5 million students will be engaged in planting these trees. And therefore, this education, this exercise will involve all our students countrywide.
Mino, Deputy Minister of Natural Resources, Chibiro Mpinganjira, says his ministry is implementing a broader program aimed at planting over 40 million trees nationwide, with hopes of surpassing 60 million.
We, in the ministry, we have targeted 40 million trees. That is our target in the ministry. But as you have seen, the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Culture is also targeting to plant 3 million trees. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. Their local church is planning to plant 5,000 trees. So there will be a lot of trees planted. We haven't put all the numbers together, but we are easily looking at 60 million if we look at all the other organizations that will join in.
Malawi has more than 5 million primary school learners across all districts, a population expected to play a critical role in the success of the initiative being jointly implemented by the Ministries of Youth, Education and Natural Resources. Smart Charika, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Action for Sustainable Development, a SOOT, a non-governmental organization working in Mzimba North, has embarked on an agroforestry project to preserve soil and other natural resources in areas surrounding Mombwe Hills in traditional authority Mtwalo in Mzimba district. Executive Director for the organization, Thomas Mgira, says the project is aimed at addressing environmental degradation and food insecurity caused by wanton cutting down of trees. Rodrigo Nyerenda has filed this report.
Fields around Mombwe Hills have little or no soil fertility due to severe land degradation, a problem that has been worsening each year as a result of deforestation. It is against this background that Action for Sustainable Development ASUD has embarked on agroforestry to support the community to plant 30,000 seedlings of acacia, Grisidia and Mrombwa to restore vegetation cover and improve soil fertility. Speaking during the tree planting exercise at Lubenimiti and Msekanavana villages in traditional authority Mutwaro in Mzimba North, ASUD Executive Director Thomas Ngwira said he expects the project to benefit communities through improved crop yields in the future.
What prompted us to start this project here, to do a project here along Mombwe Mountain, is that there is high record of hunger in this area. Each year, the farmers suffer erosion and they harvest less. Therefore, the erosion impact itself, we have come here to address this problem by planting trees so that the soils around this area should be stabilized.
One of the farmers, Wines Gama, in the area says the project will help in addressing the environmental challenges the communities have been facing. Group Village Headman Msekanavana has described the project as timely intervention in improving agricultural productivity in the area.
Development in my village, I have really welcome it because this development will help my people in their gardens to replace nutrients.
Action for Sustainable Development is implementing the agroforestry project to promote sustainable agriculture. The 2-year integrated Mombwe Mountain and Landscape Restoration Project is being supported by Malawi Environmental Endowment Trust MIT. Rodrigo Nyerenda, MBC News, Mzimba.
This is MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chungambi. A reminder of the top stories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika renames Paul Kagame Road in Lilongwe to John Chirembwe Road. Older persons in the country continue to face violence despite various interventions by government and organizations. And in sports, Scorcher's coach optimistic that his charges will be successful in the group stages of Women's Africa Cup of Nations despite being drawn against Africa's heavyweights. Welcome back. Older persons in the country continue to face violence despite various interventions by government and organizations. Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare, Mary Navija, has called for concerted efforts to end the vice, particularly attacks linked to accusations of witchcraft. We have a report.
According to the Malawi Network of Older Persons Organizations, MANEPO, at least 28 older persons were killed due to witchcraft-related accusations in 2025, while over 200 cases of abuse and violence against older persons were recorded during the same period. It is against this background that MANEPO convened key stakeholders in Lilongwe for a workshop on ageism and older persons' rights, emphasizing the urgent need to enforce the Older Persons Act, which was enacted in 2024. Speaking at the meeting, Minister Navija said growing old should never be a source of fear, but rather a celebration of a life well lived. She stressed that the Older Persons Act is a critical legal framework for safeguarding the rights, dignity and well-being of older persons in Malawi. Navija has since challenged stakeholders to develop clear, practical strategies that will ensure protection, inclusion and respect for older persons across the country.
Some of them, their lands are being grabbed unlawfully. So as a minister responsible for older persons, I don't want to see or hear the reports that older persons are being killed due to the allegations of witchcraft. And as you're aware that the president, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is very committed ensuring that older persons are fully protected and also have access to medical services and any other essential services. We don't want to see our people, our older persons being abused.
Meanwhile, MANEPO Executive Director Andrew Kavala said the organization is working closely with various stakeholders including the judiciary, women lawyers and the Malawi Law Society to support effective implementation of the Act. Kavala said collaboration is key to ending abuse and ensuring justice for older persons.
We intend to work with the judiciary, so we bring the courts away from the courtroom to the community. When somebody, for argument's sake, is found guilty and is being sentenced, we want the community to see that happening. Our aim is to see a Malawian society where everyone is enjoying their rights without fear.
Malawi has over 1 million older persons, with about 90% living in rural areas where cases of abuse are more prevalent. MANEPO has intensified awareness campaigns on older persons' rights with support from Sweden-based Age Help International and Age International as part of efforts to combat ageism and violence nationwide.
Unsafe and unsupportive structures are engulfing men with fear of stigma and shame in reporting gender-based violence cases. Our reporter is on the streets of the capital city, Lilongwe, where some men attribute the low reporting of such cases to societal norms that shame men for crying or speaking out when they face abuse. From Lilongwe, here is Justin Simoyo.
Gender-based violence against men in Malawi exists, but it remains largely underreported and often overlooked due to deep-rooted societal norms. Men experience GBV in forms such as verbal, physical, and sexual abuse, yet many suffer in silence. On 3rd January this year, a police officer became one of the latest victims of gender-based violence after his wife reportedly poured hot water on him following a domestic dispute. According to a police report, the victim, Inspector Jonathan Simaka, aged 42, sustained burns on his chest, left thigh, and left arm. Simaka is one of many men who have suffered abuse. The majority of male victims do not report such cases. The big question remains, why are men suffering in silence?
There are a lot of challenges as men, why we fail to go to police or report of any GBV happening among our lives. One might be that kind of a shame as a man you can receive when you report an issue, say, okay, I've been abused in this way, in such a way, by my woman or by my wife. By the end of the day, even them themselves, the ones that you are reporting to, they'll say, really? Are you really a man? Things like those. So you always run away, say, anyway, let me not be a laughing stock in town.
To some others, more especially to other men, what they normally think is that when I go to the police, it will normally demean them. It will normally make them not like to look like men, because we normally see that as men, we need to what? We need to control those women. So at the end of the day, they just keep quiet. They don't even to go to the police.
The Malawi Police Service has taken the lead in breaking the culture of silence surrounding gender-based violence against men. The service is currently running a nationwide campaign aimed at encouraging men to speak out and report GBV cases to victim support units. Regional Community Policing Coordinator for Central West Regional Police Headquarters, Kechtan Singano, has assured male victims of safety and confidentiality whenever they report such cases.
We're hearing men complaining that they've been victimized, but they don't come to police. So we're moving around in town, in schools and other important meetings to tell men to come and report to police. At victim support, we have got so many services that we give. We have counseling, we have advice giving, we also have referral services whereby we refer victims for those cases to other relevant stakeholders for further assistance. They must know that they're very safe and all the officers are well trained. They will not disclose whatever you came to police for.
Joseph Daniel Sukali, founder of Sorry I'm Not Sorry, a mental health advocacy organization, says facilities such as victim support units and one-stop centers should have structures that allow men to open up without fear, stigma, or shame.
We have one-stop centers in district hospitals. We have victim support units under the Malawi Police Service. All these spaces, you see that historically they were structured for women and children in mind. So this time around, we need to revamp these spaces to make sure men feel welcomed, not out of place. Or we should also prepare those working in these spaces to be gender sensitive, in the sense that men also face the same issues that women face when it comes to abuse. Yes, they will be different in nature, but abuse is still abuse. It doesn't see gender.
As Malawi continues to register cases of gender-based violence against men, the police and advocates are emphasizing the importance of reminding men that it is okay to cry, speak out, and seek help when abused. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Transport and Public Works Japie Mhango says government is committed to completing construction of Rumpi-Nyika and Njagwa-Livingstonia roads. Mhango made the commitment when he toured the two roads in Rumpi district. Blessings Gondwe has more.
People of Rumpi and Chitipa districts have been eagerly waiting for the completion of Rumpi-Nyika and Talile Road, which started in 2018 but has been facing funding challenges. In light of this, Transport and Public Works Minister Japie Mhango visited the 20-kilometer Bolero-Bembe stretch to appreciate its state and progress. Mhango expressed satisfaction with the progress and said government will ensure that the contractor, Prem Construction Limited, is fully paid the sum of 29 billion kwacha to finish the stretch, which falls under the phase 1.
In terms of progress, he has done fairly well, because he has surfaced 8.3 kilometers of asphalt. but in terms of other productions, it's gone up to kilometer number 19. So not very, very bad, considering the circumstances in which the project is being undertaken. Quality, good quality, because the end product is asphalt. So asphalt is always strong and durable.
On the Njakwa Livingstonia Road, Muhango said the government is in the process of identifying a contractor to complete the road, which was neglected for the past 5 years. Director of Major Projects at Roads Authority, Joel Olongwe, said they are monitoring the two projects keenly to ensure adherence to quality standards.
There are a few things that we are still observed that we have to come in. We have seen some landslides in some sections and some few touch-ups in the drainage that we have already made a program that will be coming shortly to address those things.
Chairperson of Rumpi District Council, Alfred Budao, said the two roads are crucial for the transportation of agricultural produce and tourism industry.
I think the government is taking part in the construction of these roads. We know that our farmers, our communities will be assisted in transporting their goods to the markets, and also people also be assisted.
The Rumpi-Nyika-Chitipa Road is about 262 kilometers long, while the Njakwa Livingstonia Road is 75 kilometer stretch. Blessings Gondwe, MBC News, Rumpi.
And now in sports, the Malawi national women's football team, the Scorchers coach Lovemore Faziri, believes his charges will be triumphant in the group stages of Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON, despite being drawn against Africa's heavyweights. The Scorchers have been drawn in Group C of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations alongside defending champions Nigeria, neighbors Zambia and Egypt. The draw was conducted on Thursday in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of the tournament scheduled from March 17 to April 3rd this year.
All I can say now is that we have to know our opponents, more especially areas which are weak and areas which are very strong. Preparations are underway. We are having a COSAFA tournament ahead, which we're going to start on 18th February to first match. We're going to come early February with local players and some African professional players. For purpose of having this COSAFA tournament, I think it's going to also to help us areas which we're supposed to improve. We include new, but more especially with the players which have been with the team for so long, and maybe we adding some new faces like goalkeepers and some defenders. This is my plan. I've already sat down with the FA managers, more especially with the CEO and the president. He have assured me to give all support which they can, and with that advantage, or with that good thing from the president, I think players are aware, the technical panel is aware of this. We're going to Morocco not as underdogs. We have the purpose to do for the country.
And that's it from our newsroom this afternoon. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika renames Paul Kagame Road in Lilongwe to John Chirembwe Road. Other persons in the country continue to face violence despite various interventions by government and organizations. And in sports, Scorchers coach optimistic that his charges will be successful in the group stages of Women's Africa Cup of Nations despite being drawn against Africa's heavyweights. Visit MBC Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good afternoon.
Vinicius por el costado izquierdo, un poco más retrasado, Rodrigo de izquierda, tiene a Brem, ¡Pere, golazo!
We put everything into this. Those that can do it and succeed,
how to fix it.
This city has been just a cookbook.
It's part
of being hit here
with the latest global news and insightful documentary.
Transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only know you.
Hello, I am Arthur Chokoto with Business Digest. Now, coming up in the next half hour, the scramble for stakes on the Malawi stock market pushes share prices up, making the year 2025 end on a high note for the capital market.